Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we are going to be ranking the top 10 best non-gambling centers in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM right now. And I'm not going to lie to y'all, this list was hard to put together because the non-gambling centers in this game, with the exception of the top few guys, is kind of a cesspool of mid. And I'm not going to lie to y'all, when you go through and look at all the options at the center position, you start getting into the Galaxy Opals and Pink Diamonds and all the non-gambling cards, considering there's very few gambling Galaxy Opal or Dark Matter centers, you start getting to some really rough options really quickly, like non-shooting bigs, guys with awful releases, guys who just can't do much. There's a lot of bad cards here, and so kind of had to go through and pick out some of the good ones, and I think we got a decent list. So before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 25,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, I understand Alonzo Mourning at number 10 isn't exactly a popular pick, but like, this card is not horrible. I understand his release sucks, yes, but as a whole, he is 6'10", yes, a bit small, but really good wingspan, can shoot from both corners. Stats and badge wise, should be able to shoot the ball at a high level. His release just stinks. Playmaking wise, also not great, obviously, but if you don't use him to playmaking, you don't use him to shoot much unless he is literally wide open. And he is all defense, all finishing, a ton of speed, incredible in every other area except for shooting. He is just an absolute stud, and I think you can definitely use the card. Even has good SIGs too. It really is just that his release kind of sucks. But if you do get that release figured out, Alonzo Mourning, a very viable option at center, and I think number 10 is a fair spot to put him. Definitely deserved a shout out on this list at the very least. Number 9 is Domantas Sabonis, who I will admit I honestly kind of hate, but he does shoot the ball pretty well. And like, I don't like this card. 7'1" with a 7'3" wingspan. He's got elite size, but his stats and batters really aren't that bad. He's got half movable, some weird playmaking batters, not the best playmaking batters, but some weird hoffs, a bunch of shooting and a bunch of finishing. He's decently athletic, not horribly slow. I don't love his release. I'm just not a big fan of Domantas Sabonis, and I don't love this card, but as a whole, he's certainly not bad. And so I think it's totally fair to say, oh, I just accidentally closed my list. Well, that's okay. We are only, what, 2 cards in, but I think putting him at number 9 is fair, and I almost kind of want to put him at number 10 just because I think Mourning obviously has the better all-around stats and badges, but I'll give the edge to Domantas Sabonis still because of the 3 inches and because I do think I like his release a little bit better. Arvydas Sabonis is literally only on this list, and I am not trolling because of how tall he is. If he wasn't 7'3", this card would not be on this list. A 7'1" Arvydas Sabonis realistically does not even make the top 10, but he is 7'3", and that does provide value for a non-gambling card still, especially when you can buy directly. Now, he's slow. Yes, he's got great shooting badges, but his release is also slow, and he is not an elite level defender in any area except for straight up on the interior. You're certainly going to struggle to move his feet on the perimeter, and those are the main flaws with Arvydas Sabonis, and the reason why I think you really realistically can't put him higher than higher than 8, despite the fact that he is obviously 7'3", because really good card, but he has some limitations in a lot of areas, and I think that does hold him back a good amount. Now, number 7, this will be controversial. I don't care. Tyson Chandler. This card's release is awesome. He defends amazingly. He plays bigger than 7 foot. His player build is massive. I do not care. I like this card better than all 3 of these options, and there is no doubt about that in my mind. I am that big of a fan of Tyson Chandler in my team. I do not care if this card came out 2 months ago, over 2 months ago now at this point. I don't care that he's a Season 4 reward. I don't care that he's only a Pink Diamond. If you have this card and have him badged out, he is still, to this day, a goon who can definitely compete at a high level, especially on the defensive end of the court, but honestly, even offensively. Super athletic, good speed, release is super smooth and easy. Like, I, to this day, really like Tyson Chandler this year, and I think almost number 7 is a little low for what he gives me at times. Like, I would love a Dark Matter Tyson Chandler. Nick Claxton is who I have at number 6. Card obviously defends his butt off, but he's only 6'11", doesn't have like an unbelievably big player build or anything like that, but he does, like I said, have amazing defense, incredible stats defensively, and great rebounding, and can put the ball on the floor a little bit. Shooting is in need of shooting badges, but his release is smooth and easy, so if you want to add those to him, you can. Super athletic finisher, super versatile defender. Not the shooter. Well, neither is Tyson, to be fair, as a base card. They both need shooting badges, but if you add shooting badges to either of them, I think they're both very good, and I think putting them back-to-back feels very fair because they basically give you the same thing on the court. Dwight Howard, D12, so I'm going to put it number 5. The problem with Dwight is that his release just sucks. I mean, at the end of the day, that is the problem, because everything else with this card is elite. He's got great SIGs. He's not huge, but he's got a 7'4" wingspan. He's super strong, super fast, super versatile. I don't even think height matters quite as much this year as it has in previous years. The problem with this card, though, is the fact that his release is just awful, and I think that's pretty much a deal breaker, to a certain extent anyway. Now, Kyrie dribble style, Kemba escape, he's got some movement, but I almost want to put him below Claxton and Tyson simply because of how poor his release is, and I'm actually going to do it because I put Arvidas down there mainly because of how slow, but also how poor his release was. I guess I will do so as well with Dwight because his release is, I do believe, kind of that bad. Although he did hit a game-winning 3 in his gameplay, which y'all may or may not have seen yet. I'm not entirely sure if I even uploaded it yet. But regardless, top 4, Marc Gasol, 6'11", good wingspan, good player build, does everything well. Honestly, pretty simple. He just does everything well. He can shoot the ball at a high level. He can defend well. Is he playmaking at an elite level? Not exactly, but he can finish at a high level, and he's a good athlete, good speed. Not great speed, but he's just a good all-around card. Does everything well. Super duper solid, super complete, and is he the best of the best at the center position? Not quite, but for these non-gambling centers, I think he's a pretty good option. I think putting him number 4 feels pretty fair. Number 3 is going to be another 6'11" dude, but with a 7'11" wingspan. That's Kevin McHale. That 7'11" wingspan really does unlock his ability to shot create for himself. At 6'10" with 7'11" wingspan, sorry, I thought it was 6'11", but it's still 6'10", regardless, though. The 7'11" wingspan helps with shot creation, but also helps defensively. Every defensive badge in the game, he's going to play lanes super well. His release could be a little better, but he is kind of glitchy as a playmaker and as a finisher, and does actually have some pretty solid, maybe not insane stakes, but definitely not bad. Pro 2 fade as well. I do like McHale. I just realistically, honestly wish that he had a slightly better release, because outside of that, he's a really good card, and he would be top 2 instead of top 3. But I do think it's fair. The top 2 centers in the game right now are pretty, like, duh when it comes to non-gambling. I'm not even going to waste my time trying to just gatekeep who the number 1 spot is. Obviously, it's Dikembe Mutombo's, duh, by literally night and day. But I think, honestly, Artis Gilmore as a non-gambling center as well is pretty night and day himself. Yes, his 3 ball is only a 66. With a shoe that's a 70, add a coach, add badges. You got mid-70s of shooting badges you should be hitting, especially with how smooth and easy his release is. And trust me, it is really smooth and really easy. Pro dribble style as well is certainly not bad. Finishing badges are looking good. Defense is also looking great. Now, obviously, me personally, with my Artis Gilmore, I have a bunch of extra shooting badges on him, which is exactly what I would recommend doing with the card, as well as a couple of playmaking badges. I'm not even sure if I added playmaking badges, though. I think it might have just been pretty much shooting. So regardless, those will definitely help this Artis Gilmore if you are going to use him, but I think he is absolutely a no-brainer, best buyable anyway center in the game right now. And then you have Dikembe from salary cap, who is also non-gambling, not buyable, but 7'2" with a 7'6" wingspan. Legitimately, I think the best big man release in the game, not to mention again being 7'2" with every defensive badge and 93 speed. Like, fast, versatile, amazing card with an incredible release at Pro 2 fade too. Like, I don't know what 2K was thinking making this card as good as they did, but he is legitimately the best big man in the game right now, period. Outside of 100 overalls, which obviously I don't include on this list. But as a whole, like I said, you got 2 amazing guys, Dikembe and Artis Gilmore. After that, it kind of pretty quickly starts to drop off relatively significantly in terms of the types of guys you want. And I will say, the center position, just like shooting guard, small forward, could use some more really good free cards and some more love with another free reward or 2 over the next week or so. With that being said, I'm just hoping at this point that we get, I don't know, I hope in Season 7 shows promise is the main thing that I'm worried about at this point, because I don't know. It is kind of unfortunate doing some of these lists and being like, wow, the game is dominated by these gambling cards at a lot of these positions. It's kind of annoying, but it is what it is at the end of the day. That's going to do it for this video. I hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.